Imagine living on an island so remote that the nearest civilization is over 3,000 miles away. No bustling cities, no modern conveniences, just the endless expanse of the Pacific Ocean stretching in every direction. There are no airports, no hospitals, and no supermarkets. The population? Fewer than 50 people, living in complete isolation, cut off from the rest of the world. This is Pitcairn Island, the most remote inhabited place on Earth. But beyond its breathtaking landscapes and tranquil blue waters lies a dark and mysterious past, one intertwined with one of the most infamous mutinies in history. This tiny island became the refuge of men who defied an empire, mutineers who vanished into the unknown, only to create a society of their own. But what really happened here? And what is life like today for the descendants of these fugitives? Join us as we uncover the secrets of Pitcairn Island. Before we dive into the secrets of Pitcairn, make sure to hit that like button if you love exploring the world's most mysterious places. And don't forget to subscribe to Beyond Borders for more incredible travel stories. Pitcairn Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth, a tiny volcanic outcrop lost in the vastness of the South Pacific Ocean. It sits over 3,000 miles from New Zealand and more than 3,500 miles from the coast of South America. To put that into perspective, it is farther from major landmasses than nearly any other settlement on the planet. There are no bridges, no roads connecting it to the outside world, just the endless blue of the ocean stretching as far as the eye can see. Unlike most inhabited islands, Pitcairn has no airport. There's no runway for planes to land, no airstrip for emergency evacuations. The only way to reach this secluded place is by sea, and even that isn't easy. There isn't a proper port, only rugged cliffs and treacherous rocky shores. Ships can't dock directly, so supplies and visitors must be ferried to land on small boats, navigating powerful waves and unpredictable currents. Because of its extreme isolation, Pitcairn relies on supply ships that visit just a few times a year. These vessels bring essential goods, food, medicine, fuel, and other necessities. But if something runs out in between shipments, the islanders simply have to do without. Internet access is limited and unreliable, making communication with the outside world difficult. Even fresh water is not guaranteed. There are no rivers or lakes, so the islanders depend almost entirely on collected rainwater. Life here is not just about adaptation. It's about resilience, self-reliance, and a deep connection to nature and community. But how did anyone end up in such an isolated and unforgiving place? The origins of Pitcairn's inhabitants can be traced back to one of the most infamous naval rebellions in history, the Mutiny on the Bounty. It all began in 1789 aboard the British Royal Navy vessel, HMS Bounty. The ship had been tasked with transporting breadfruit plants from Tahiti to the Caribbean, but the journey was fraught with tension. Captain William Bligh, known for his strict discipline and harsh punishments, ruled with an iron fist. His increasingly brutal leadership sparked resentment among his crew. After months of mistreatment, a group of sailors, led by Fletcher Christian, could take no more. They staged a mutiny, seizing control of the ship and setting Bligh and his loyalists adrift in a small boat with little chance of survival. Now, fugitives of the British Crown, Christian and his fellow mutineers knew they would be hunted down. In a desperate attempt to escape capture, they sailed across the Pacific with a group of Polynesian men and women, searching for a refuge where no one would find them. Eventually, they stumbled upon Pitcairn Island, a tiny, uncharted dot on the map, far from any naval patrols. They had found their hiding place. To ensure they could never be tracked, they made a drastic decision. They burned the Bounty, reducing it to ashes and sinking the wreckage beneath the waves. Any chance of returning to civilization was gone. They were now marooned in their own exile, isolated from the world forever. But instead of a peaceful new beginning, what followed was chaos. Tensions soon erupted between the mutineers and their Polynesian companions. Jealousy, power struggles, and cultural divides led to bitter rivalries. Friend turned against friend, alliances crumbled, and violence became inevitable. One by one, the mutineers were picked off. Some murdered in the night, others hunted down in brutal conflicts. Blood was spilled, betrayals ran deep, and by the time the dust settled, only a handful of men remained. These survivors, along with the remaining Polynesian women, would go on to shape the future of Pitcairn Island. But at what cost? Fast forward over 2 centuries, and Pitcairn Island is still home to the direct descendants of the infamous mutineers. But while the island's violent past has faded into history, life here remains a challenge. Isolation still defines daily existence, and survival depends on resourcefulness, self-sufficiency, and a deep connection to the land and sea. With a population of fewer than 50 residents, Pitcairn is one of the least populated territories on Earth. Most of its inhabitants are elderly, and attracting new settlers has been a persistent struggle. The remoteness of the island means that even the most basic services taken for granted elsewhere are absent here. There is no permanent doctor, no hospital, and no modern medical facilities. In case of a serious illness or injury, evacuation is the only option, but the nearest medical assistance is thousands of miles away. A ship must be called, and depending on weather conditions, it could take days, even weeks, for help to arrive. In extreme cases, survival can come down to luck. With no supermarkets or convenience stores, residents must grow much of their own food. Farming is a necessity, with crops like bananas, sweet potatoes, and taro sustaining the community. The surrounding ocean provides fish, an essential food source. However, everything else, fuel, medicine, household supplies, must be brought in by supply ships, which only arrive a few times a year. If an item runs out, there's no easy way to replace it. Islanders simply learn to do without. Modern conveniences are scarce. Internet access exists, but is slow and expensive, making communication with the outside world difficult. Electricity is limited, often rationed, and many homes rely on solar power. There are no cars as we know them, just a few all-terrain vehicles and quad bikes navigating the steep, rugged terrain. Life on Pitcairn moves at a pace most of the world has forgotten, untouched by the hustle and bustle of modern civilization. For those who live here, every day is a test of endurance, but it's also a life of freedom, one where nature rules, community is everything, and the echoes of history are never far away. For those daring enough to visit, Pitcairn is one of the most challenging and remote travel destinations in the world. Unlike popular island getaways, there are no luxury resorts, no direct flights, and no easy way in or out. Visiting Pitcairn isn't just a trip. It's an expedition, requiring patience, planning, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. Since there's no airport, the only way to reach Pitcairn is by sea. Travelers must first get to French Polynesia, usually by flying into Tahiti. From there, a boat journey of at least 32 hours across the vast Pacific is the only means of arrival. The seas can be rough, and the approach to Pitcairn is no simple docking maneuver. With no proper port, visitors must transfer to small boats, navigating unpredictable waves to reach the shore. For many, the journey itself is a test of endurance. Once on the island, accommodations are extremely limited. There are no hotels, only a few homestays operated by local families who welcome guests into their simple, self-sufficient lifestyle. Visitors will find themselves immersed in Pitcairn's rugged beauty, hiking steep trails that wind through untouched landscapes, exploring hidden caves, and standing at the very site where the mutineers burned the HMS Bounty. The remains of the legendary ship still rest beneath the waters of Bounty Bay, a ghostly relic of the past that draws history enthusiasts and adventurers alike. But visiting Pitcairn isn't as simple as booking a ticket and showing up. Because of its fragile ecosystem and small population, access is tightly controlled. Special permits and visas are required, and trips must be planned months in advance. Visitors must also bring essentials, as there are no stores to purchase supplies. Even the duration of a stay is dictated by the schedule of infrequent supply ships, meaning those who come must be prepared for an extended adventure in isolation. Pitcairn isn't just a vacation destination. It's an experience like no other. It's a place where the modern world feels distant, where history lingers in the air, and where travelers truly disconnect from everything they know. For those who seek the extraordinary, this forgotten island offers the ultimate adventure. So, what do you think? Could you see yourself venturing to one of the most isolated places on Earth? Would you take on the challenge of the long ocean journey, the rugged landscape, and the complete detachment from modern conveniences? Or does Pitcairn Island's extreme remoteness make it a place best left undiscovered? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you ever visit Pitcairn, or do you prefer destinations that are a little easier to reach? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're fascinated by the world's most mysterious, remote, and extreme destinations, you're in the right place. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Beyond Borders, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We have plenty more adventures to take you on, from hidden islands to lost cities and everything in between. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next journey, wherever in the world it may take us.